Greetings, one and all. I'm Kerrik52, and I finished my bout of grinding, as you can see. I also figured out that you can click the stick here and access the Beastiary. I'll show the whole thing later on, but I just thought it was really funny to see the picture description here. An animal bred for its obnoxiously cute and tender little body. Sup on its toothsome niblets slathered in Roda butter or straddling bacon. Adorably delicious! You can also see the stats and the description of the bosses. So we have Genocris and Nigtilger. Yeah, Nigtilger is about twice as strong but gives you 10 times the XP. Damn. Anyway, let's get out of here. Gotta report back to Sarah. Hello? Oh. Yeah, that kinda sucks. Yeah, it's about time to explore the mine, I guess. That makes sense. See what the NPCs have to say. I do want that silver sword. Kinda impressed he went away again. Oh. Well, no time to lose heart. Best to deal with this whole situation. Hey Pim, give me a refill, will you? And then I actually want to pick up the rest of this equipment. So, what are we missing? We're missing the shield. Might as well pick up the other ones too, just for funsies. Money has essentially lost all value by now, so why not? Now, you don't have to buy these, but it's just nice to have them, as you'll see later on. But with shopping out of the way, let's go back to Jiba. Do the people here have any new dialogue for us? Oh. That's how it works. That is a good question. We did restore the silver bell, so the people here should be fine. What about Tree Grandma? Voices on the wind. Yeah, but that still kinda sucks, doesn't it? Two goddesses and 6 priests. Okay. And they're both of the Tova bloodline. Alright, give it to me. The Book of Hadal. Long ago, Cleria was created in Ys. It was displayed in the Temple of Solomon as a monument to prosperity. But suddenly, disaster struck. In the shadows of that prosperity, evil had grown and brought with it the seeds of suffering. It struck with all-consuming fury. In the wake of its demon hordes, even the fair land of Salceda became as ash. Salceda! That's Ys 4, by the way. I actually forgot that they mentioned it this early, but it is on the map in the manual as well. But even if all were to be wiped away, the prosperous and the suffering alike, the twin trees and twin moons would forever watch over this land. Gotta love a fantasy setting with twin moons, never wrong. What about this one? The Book of Tova. Ys was healed by 2 goddesses and 6 priests. The goddesses embody the spirit of our land and inspire our lives. One represents order, the other freedom. If we were to ever lose them, all our struggles and achievements would come to naught, and we would never again know peace. We must not lose the goddesses regardless of the cost, even unto eternity's shadow. Yeah, things are happening at an alarming rate. And we need to investigate it all. And go and say hi to Feena. All in good time. It's just nice to see you up and about again. So, about that mine. Let me just skip ahead here a little bit. Here we are, Rastin mine. And now we are finally strong enough to actually survive in here. Which is good, because it's a deep dark nightmare maze. So first floor here. Let me just save before I forget. There are a fair amount of treasures to be had. So let's go explore. It looks much worse than it is, though you kind of have to run a few laps to find the way. So, a healing potion? Not that I need it. What about the timer ring? So, this slows down enemies. Not really that useful, but it's good in a pinch sometimes. As you can see, I am a bit under-leveled for this place. Nothing a bit of adventuring can't solve. Here's the exit. So is the final chest here, maybe? No, I'm just back here. Let's progress a tad so I can go and heal, and then we can look for the last chest. This one up here? No. Really cool little break area here. Yep, that's a mining pit. Let's see if I can find that chest. Well, that was hard. Good old silver armor. And all of a sudden, I can survive down here. Still want that level, but all things in good time. Let's hit up the next floor. Yeah, don't like that. I do like this, though. Now here is a ring and a half. All of a sudden, I can heal wherever I want. This completely changes the way you engage with the dungeons, since now everywhere is a field. You still want the shield ring, though. Keeps you safe. But there should be a few more chests around here. Nope. What about to the left? There we go. It's Reah's harmonica. Yet another silver treasure that's been stolen. And then for our last treasure, assuming I don't get murdered, here's the tree seed that guy was after. Let me just heal up. You know what? Never mind. Why not just go back? And now, if I equip this, we can go and return both the harmonica and this poem to Reah. So this was the scene from the intro. And then we can give her this. The eastern sky is stained in red, the western sky is blue. Between the lands of light and shade, my dreams are born anew. I hear the melodies of birds and taste the fresh spring air. I see the silent Roda tree, and I feel I once been there. Its sight is all I'd ever need to cry until the dawn, the lost serenity of man depicted thereupon. I feel the bird, its wings aloft, en route to clearer skies, 2 moons that wax and wane out west, while east the sun doth rise. And here we go, someone talking about the wheel of fate turning. Do you have anything else to say about that for our boy here? Guess not. I guess we'll find out more of that later. Let's refill on a wing again. And then go say hi to the guy in the tavern. Okay, so we don't use it by giving it to him. Let's go ask Jebba for advice. Hello. It wasn't just courage, I taught you the value of power leveling. Yeah, we did hear that. Aha. We can do that. And we've also saved ourselves a bit of backtracking as by... having Reah play that tune, she has actually awoken the Roda tree. So if we go and find it... down here... I don't even have to think about these enemies anymore. It's awesome. So, let's eat this. The possibilities of what exactly? Cool swords, okay. And you very much need this to survive the next boss fight. But before we go back down into the mine, let's go talk to the other tree. Yes, hello. Alright, and now we can go back into the mine. We've got everything we need, so now it's just a question of getting a few more levels. And then we can beat the boss. That was one level. But I'll want to get to level 10, so I'm gonna be here a little bit, but let's get down to the bottom first. So this is B1. And then we just go around here quickly. And here's B2. Silver sword doing work. Nothing here that's a real threat, really? Did I walk away? I think I did. So really, the darkness is your real adversary here. As the enemies really aren't that big of a deal. But that makes sense, because we're almost at max level here. Remember, once I get this last level, that's it. We're maxed for the entire game. Which is really odd. I don't think I've ever played another game that actually does it that way. Usually, your power curve is integral to the experience, but here they just don't care. Ah, I forgot to put on the shield ring. That's why I was hurting so much. That's our boss key. Let's see. Anything else of note down here? No, there is a healing potion. That's about it, though. So how's this? Can I find the way back? There we go. So I'll grind for a bit and come back at max level, and then we tackle the boss. See ya. And as you can imagine, this being the final level up is kind of ridiculous. Here it comes. Those are some numbers with a big N. So, for the rest of the game, all of our power comes exclusively from equipment. And money is kind of useless as well, so fighting enemies is really just for people who want to complete the Beastiary, which I don't care to do because it's very grindy. But I will go so far as to beat up some bosses at the very least. So let's do just that. Here it is. This thing is Vagullion, and is contender for second hardest boss in the game? Depends. Chronicles is still kind of a bastard. So, this is the bat monster that ruined the village upstairs. Now you can only hurt him when he collects himself. And you get a nice audio cue to help you. But you have to play very, very defensively. And if you aren't max level like I am, you deal like a sixth of the damage I just did. Thankfully, if you just hug the corners and dance around him like this, it isn't that hard to keep the damage to a minimum. But if you run through the bat swarm, you are getting shredded. And that's really all she wrote. More of a stat bag than anything. Feels kind of wrong that they expect you to grind this much and then leave nothing for the remainder of the game. But he still takes forever. Come on. Yeah, I have nothing to say here. Again, the boss theme is nice, and the thing here on the floor really reminds me of the symbol of Ouroboros from the Trail series. I wonder if that's a coincidence or not. Falcom is actually really good about designing a very diverse set of like tile sets, dungeons, and symbols that are unique, but they still feel like they belong together. Which speaks to the talent of the artists, I feel. So while there isn't like a greater Falcom canon, you can still feel all of the creative touches that overlap from game to game. And that is something I'll be diving into as we find a more diverse set of games to poke at. Which does include a bunch of Ys games, which I'm excited for. I still haven't played all of them, or, well, I have played all of them, but I haven't played all of the versions of them. Still a few missing, and I don't intend to play all of them, but there's still some interesting versions here and there that are worth a look. Still waiting on that remake for Ys 5 though, Falcom. I know you want to do it. Oh wait, what am I saying? There is actually a remake of Ys 5. Was that the one by Konami or? Yeah, it's the one on the PS2. Yeah, I need to check that out too. But like a real remake. Preferably by Falcom themselves. Finally. And for my reward? And then a weird room. Well, nothing more to do here. Back to Jibba. Okay, how about this last book? Nothing new there. Did that. The Book of Dabby. I speak now of the disaster of Ys. He rose suddenly and attacked our cities. He called forth molten stone from the bowels of the world to burn our fields and trap us in a sea of fire. It was terrible and absolute. One by one, our proud nations were blown out like candles, and darkness and chaos stole over our world. Surely the Cleria was the cause. Was it not the harbinger of darkness? Thus we seal it within the darkness in the ground, so that hope may shine anew. Forget it not, and never lay hands upon it again. And that's what the villagers did, by mining silver, which is another name for Cleria, thus awakening all of these monsters. Yeah. Darm Tower has been looming in the distance for far too long. It's time to go and explore there. Okay. It's the least we can do. But now the endgame is upon us. Or rather, the second half of the game, kind of? Darm Tower is huge. It's a game in its own right, more or less. But in order to master it, I am going to have to make some preparations. Until then, farewell.